Thomas is a tank engine who lives at the big station on the island of Sodor. He's a cheeky little engine with 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short stumpy...
Oi! That's not very nice.
What?
Making fun of other people's flaws.
I wasn't making fun.
I don't comment on your glasses, do I?
No, but...
I don't call you baldy.
Alright.
I don't call you specky slaphead, do I?
Alright.
Do I?
Alright. I'm sorry, okay? Sorry.
No wonder you live on your own.
Oi! It was a lovely day on the island of Sodor. Thomas was approaching the station when he noticed 2 of the strangest characters he had ever seen in Farmer Oblivious's field.
Hello, my name's Thomas. Who are you?
He asked. Hello, Thomas, I'm Shinty, and this is my brother Windy. We was travelling round the northwest of England when we came across the island of Sodor, and your nice farmer said we could stay in the field for a few days. Thomas was pleased to meet new people. He couldn't wait to tell the other engines about his new friends.
Pshaw, huffed Gordon. Their kind is the last thing we need around here.
What do you mean?
Asked Thomas.
They're perfectly nice people. You just haven't met them yet.
Oh, Thomas, you're so naive. That's how it starts. Then things start going missing in the area. Then they pave over the field, followed by a lengthy eviction process, and finally bare-knuckle fistfights amongst local rivals.
Oh, Gordon, stop making assumptions about people.
But the next morning, Thomas awoke to find his spare buffers missing. That evening, Gordon returned to find his antique dome collection had vanished. And the next morning, the Fat Controller found his suit had gone missing. For the next few days, suspicion and mistrust grew between the engines and the new arrivals. Finally, the Fat Controller decided action had to be taken. He called for Bobby, the police engine. The engines all explained what they had lost, and Bobby listened intently. Bobby carefully examined each crime scene. In each one he found specks of green paint and the unmistakable scent of Welsh coal. Finally, he arrived at Henry's shed. Inside were all the missing items.
There's my antique dome collection,
exclaimed Gordon.
My spare buffers are there,
announced Thomas. And there's my porn mags! I mean, whose are those porn mags? The engines were very sorry for the way they treated the new arrivals. Henry agreed to seek help for his kleptomania while he paid his debt to society. All the engines agreed not to be so suspicious of people just because they're different, and was midnight on the island of Sodor, and at Tidmouth Sheds all the engines were sleeping soundly, or so it seemed. Suddenly, Thomas was awoken by a strange noise. It was Edward, sneaking out of the sheds. He didn't notice Thomas had seen him.
Where's he off to this time of night?
Thought Thomas, and decided to follow. He slowly and quietly set off, taking extra care not to wake any of the other engines. First, Edward arrived at an old shed on an abandoned branch line. Thomas watched as Edward went inside. After a few minutes, he emerged. Thomas couldn't believe his eyes. There was Edward, in the strangest outfit Thomas had ever seen. Next, Thomas followed Edward to the Hammer Time warehouse by the docks. As Edward went inside, Thomas saw more engines, all wearing equally bizarre costumes. Thomas couldn't wait to speak to Edward the next day.
Edward, what were you up to last night?
Oh, nothing. Just a little get-together.
Get-together? Who with?
No one. Just some friends. No one.
What do you do there?
We're rehearsing for a play.
Play? What's it about?
Nothing. It's just something we're doing.
Which theatre is it?
No. It's just a bit of fun. It's just something we're doing. It's just a bit of fun.
Can I get tickets?
No. It's just a bit of fun. It's just something we're doing. And with that, Edward sped away. Now Thomas was even more intrigued. He couldn't wait to tell the other engines. Word quickly spread around the island. Soon everyone knew about Edward's mysterious meetings. Edward was embarrassed. Eventually, the Fat Controller decided to intervene. Now then, whatever Edward gets up to behind closed doors and on his own time is his own business. You engines have invaded Edward's privacy and caused him huge embarrassment. Thomas was upset. That night, Edward again returned to see his friends, but not in costume. This time it was to tell his friends that he wouldn't be coming to their gatherings again. As he went inside, Edward couldn't believe his eyes. There was Thomas, James and Gordon, all wearing costumes.
We've all decided that whatever you like to get up to in private, it's perfectly fine with us. I'm sorry I embarrassed you, Edward. And if it's okay with you, we've come to join in with you and your friends.
Edward was delighted. All the engines agreed that, however unusual and bizarre someone's activities are, they should be tolerated and celebrated.
Okay then, let's get started.
Percy works at the big station. He loves playing with the trucks all day long, bashing them around, making fun of them, undermining them, making them feel inferior, spoiling films for them, trolling them online. But his favourite job is when he brings Gordon his coaches for the express. "Here are your coaches, Gordon," he proudly announced.
Percy, these aren't my coaches.
Percy was embarrassed. "Oh dear, please don't tell the Fat Controller." But it was too late.
Percy, did I hear you correctly? Did you just call me fat? Is that how you all feel?
The engines didn't know what to say. Thomas and his friends hadn't seen the Fat Controller for days.
I feel bad about Sir Topham Hatt. We need to show him that body image is important and that he should feel confident, however he looks.
But how do we do that?
I think I have the answer.
After weeks of preparation, it was time to visit the Fat Controller.
I can't wait to see the look on his face. He will be surprised.
The engines were shocked.
But, what happened to you?
This is all your fault.
It was Dr. Engine.
Your heartless name-calling and body-shaming is responsible for his dangerous weight loss, and your attempts at making him feel better have just made matters worse.
Thomas and his friends were very sorry for what they had done. Everyone agreed that, whether dangerously malnourished or morbidly obese, everybody is just fine as they are, and they should be accepted and celebrated.
Well, no, I didn't say that exactly. Well, I guess I'll be going back to the chippy 4 times a day. Well, I don't recommend that at all.
And as for us, I guess we'll be on a diet of water and slimming pills for 6 months.
That's just bloody stupid. Please, can I just get everyone's attention, please? Am I the only one talking common sense here? Really? Is everyone just going to ignore me?
Tank engine, who lives at the big station on the island of Sodor. He's a cheeky little engine with 6 small wheels, a short stumpy funnel, a short stumpy boiler, and a short stumpy driver. Oi! Oops. It was a very exciting evening on the island of Sodor. Henry was finally returning after 3 months of renovations at Crewe. All the engines were pleased to welcome him back.
In keeping with our commitment to appear more environmentally conscious, please welcome Henry, the electric engine.
Hiya, everyone. Henry, what on earth happened to you?
Henry now runs entirely on electric power. His shed and every station now has charging points, and his tender is now one massive solar cell, making Henry completely carbon neutral. Henry, tomorrow you will pull the express.
Henry was delighted.
Oh, thank you, sir. Ah, that bloody hurts. Why do we do this? That's really painful. Oh my God. How come no one told me how much this kills?
Henry arrived bright and early at the big station the next day. He was very excited to be pulling the express. He proudly blew his whistle and set off exactly on time. But soon he found that pulling the express was easier said than done. By the time he reached Edward's station, he was exhausted. Hello, Henry. You don't look very happy.
Oh, Thomas, I'm knackered. I just can't summon up the energy I could when I was steam-powered. I think getting reassignment surgery was a huge mistake.
And with that, Henry set off.
Get out of the way, you stupid old bike! Move! Move it! Move! Look out!
Oh dear! Woo! Mrs. Kindly had always been very careful to listen out for steam engines when she used the crossing, but Henry didn't sound like a steam engine anymore and was far too quiet.
Henry, there's only one thing for it. You will have to make engine noises.
What?
To protect our more elderly pedestrians, you will have to sound more like a steam engine.
Chuff, chuff,
As Henry
chuff,
set
chuff,
off,
chuff,
he
chuff,
didn't know
chuff,
what
chuff,
to
chuff,
think.
Woo, woo! Chuff, 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 chuff.
By now, Henry could hardly speak, let alone pull the express. As he saw rain clouds approaching, he decided enough was enough. He went into a tunnel with his redundant funnel and wouldn't come out again. First the passengers pleaded with Henry to come out. Then more engines arrived with the fat controller.
Henry, this is no way to run a railway. You must think of your passengers and finish your journey.
No, I can't pull a full train.
and make chuffing noises, all on one charge of electricity, and getting soaked as well, and never coming out again.
Eventually, the passengers decided to try and pull Henry out.
Ahem. My doctor has forbidden me to
Aye, we know.
But it was no use. Finally, Thomas approached Henry. Henry, our planet is in the greatest danger it has ever faced. Forests are being torn down to provide land for living and feeding our vast population. We are burning huge amounts of coal and oil to provide power, transportation, and terrible, terrible online entertainment for the world. People like you are the pioneers, the visionaries. You're opening our eyes to new and exciting possibilities and telling the world that it's okay to be different, to be open-minded, or even just curious. You don't need to hide in the shadows, maybe in the parks. So come on, Henry, flaunt what you've got. Come out of there and show us your body. And with that, Henry came out. He would never again hide himself away from bigoted stereotypes, Henry-phobics, and certainly not from the rain.
Oh yeah, electric.
It was a beautiful morning on the Island of Sodor. Thomas the Tank Engine's blue paint sparkled in the sunshine. He was feeling very pleased with himself. "Hello, Thomas," whistled Percy. "You look splendid,"
Yes, indeed.
boasted Thomas.
Blue is the only proper colour for an engine.
"Oh, I don't know. I likes my brown paint," said Toby. "I've always been red. I wouldn't want to be any other colour either," added Percy.
Percy, what are you talking about? You're green.
"Well, yes, but in my heart I've always felt that I'm a red engine."
How can you feel like a red engine? You're green.
"Thomas, if Percy chooses to identify as a red engine, then he can be a red engine."
It doesn't matter how he identifies. Percy, have you looked in a mirror? Have you seen a green engine? You know why? It's you. You're a green engine.
"Thomas, it's Percy's right to choose to be a red engine."
He's choosing to avoid reality.
"Thomas, it's Percy's right to choose."
But...
"Thomas, it's Percy's right to choose." And with that, Thomas shrugged and set off. The next morning, Thomas awoke to a lovely day. He couldn't wait to get to work.
Good morning, Henry.
But Henry left the sheds without saying a word to Thomas.
What's going on?
Thomas set off for work. He was confused and didn't know why Henry was so upset. He was relieved to see more of his friends at the big station. He peeped happily to them as he approached. But the engines chose to avoid Thomas's gaze as they set off. Changing lines so as to ignore Thomas completely. Thomas was upset. He saw the fat controller coming out of his office and decided to ask him what was going on.
Excuse me, sir.
Oh, hello, Thomas.
I was wondering if you knew...
Sorry, Thomas. I think that's my phone ringing. Must go.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, definitely the phone, yeah.
Thomas slowly set off. It wasn't long before he reached his statue at Winston Siding. To his horror, it was burning. Thomas looked at all the signs placed around it.
So that's it.
Thomas was very sad. Just then, Percy approached. "Don't worry, Thomas. This will soon blow over. As soon as everyone comes across the next microaggression to overreact to, they'll all move on and forget your horrible, horrible crime." Just then, a new engine arrived. Thomas and Percy watched as water shot out of two spouts high on her water tanks. Thomas and Percy were surprised.
I've never seen an engine do that before.
Well, Edward.
You must be Thomas and Percy. I'm Belle.
"You're Big Belle," replied Percy. Thomas suddenly had an idea. He pondered to himself as Percy left. The next morning, Percy awoke in his shed.
Sexist, misogynist, don't objectify women! You suck!
Person in history.
But, what happened?
You were right, Percy. As soon as everyone heard about your innocent comments about Belle, they forgot all about my minor transgression, and now they're angry at you.
But how do they know?
I told everyone. As soon as they realized they could twist your harmless comment into a hate crime, they decided to hate you now.
Percy was surprised.
Isn't it great, Percy? They don't hate me anymore. Thank you, Percy, for all your advice.
And with that, Thomas set off for work.
Boo! Boo!